So, moving on from that vantage point that you see these companies and leaders, what do you see as the biggest mindset gaps between organizations, where organizations think they are and where they truly are? And what do they get sometimes wrong about culture?
These are such deep questions. I wish everybody could think that. See, I'll tell you with my reference, when I am called, either the company is at a high and they want to go higher, or they are low and they want to go higher. These are the 2 points that I am called at. But here is the mistake. When an organization is at a high, they are thinking that, okay, last year was so good and we move higher from here. That's the mistake. You do not take your next step from here. You have to go back to A and start the journey all over again. So I did the biography of Pulela Gopichand, and when he won the All England Championship, he had the medal. When he came back, he went back to practice. He didn't go into the next match wearing that medal. He woke up again at 4 o'clock and did what he did and then moved forward from here. And so it's like everything is good, but taking a back step and reminding and reviving the process that got you here and then moving forward. The second is when a company is at a low, they think that they are looking at the problem from their filter and perspective, which is give more incentives, do the offsites, do the parties and motivate people and get them there, which is very good. But what they fail to do at that point, and the gap area is, they don't look at the perspective of that guy who they are doing it for. Okay, and the reason there is a low is there are other factors. It could be an equation at home, it could be an equation in society, it could be the market, it could be the customer, it could be the senior, there could be so many factors. So while they are looking at the push from their perspective, they also have to see the drain from the perspective of the person they are pushing, and you see family-owned businesses, because I've written so many biographies, and that perspective is what they cover first. Like if you look at the contribution into the GDP, 60 to 70% is family-owned businesses.
Right.
They've got something right. Like the last biography that I've just finished is of late Sri Shashi Ruya. And there is this thing there is this quote in the book, there's this reference in the book where one gentleman comes to him and says, sir, I have 2 problems, personal and professional, so I'll talk about work first. He said, no, talk about the personal one first. Let's move past that. I know work you'll handle because I hired you for that. I know you're capable. So not forgetting that perspective, I think puts it back onto track. And these are 2 very large gap areas that I see at the leadership level. Simple but large ones.
No, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So you've written 17 books. You got 40 international awards. Well done. Wow.
Thank you.
And you call yourself a biography specialist, and you've chronicled the lives of some of the people you mentioned, industrialists, business leaders, sports coaches. And you also adapted your novel into a web series, trained formally in screenwriting, direction, and you're working towards that. So, question, Priya, is that when you enter someone's life story to write it, what are you really looking for beyond their public achievements? What are you exploring that the balance sheets and the business press don't capture?
Nice. Well, I'm looking for truth. I'm looking for going back to the start, because what we see is the banyan tree. What we see is the legacy, the accomplishments. I'm going back to the seed. Because when I see the seed, where he started or where she started, I remember, hey, I was also a seed. Then why didn't I crack? What led to him or her reaching this milestone, and
Yeah.
chronicling step by step what it took. And I tell you, there are so many times, and those questions is what I'm interested in, the making of the person, that the business becomes incidental, that if he
Right.
wasn't building a steel empire and if he was building restaurants, he would have done the same thing. I got the person right, I got the sprout right. And in the story, I like to move myself parallelly. And I feel that when I make that journey in hindsight, when the promoter is straightening out his life in hindsight, my God, there is so much wisdom that at that point of, I'm going to quit, now makes sense. That why he didn't or why he did and how it all adds up. And as they narrate their life, there are so many times I come to a point and said, that's where I made a mistake. I shouldn't have quit, or I should have. And, I have the ability now, I have the wisdom now to go back, reset here, and start all over again. And what I'm looking for is a method, a formula, a path, that while he could be a sports champion, or he could be an industrialist, if I'm a writer, or somebody else is a corporate executive, and they are able to move through the journey, they'll make it. So that is what I like to extract.
Okay. So leading from there, is there a common internal struggle that you've noticed across these leaders, something that they rarely talk about in public, but that shows up again and again, especially in private conversations?
It's interesting. On one common thing that comes up across the board is that they're so lonely. That the general feeling is that no one understands me. And I think one thing I also noticed is everybody feels I'm lonely and nobody understands me. So they say it's lonely at the top. Actually, it's lonely everywhere. You ask the wife, she'll say nobody understands me. You ask the son, nobody understands me. You ask the watchman, nobody understands me. I'm lonely. So that broke it, that I also feel the same way, but I'm not a billionaire. So, but one thing is there is that while they feel that nobody understands me, they understand others. Because they have been through the whole journey. They have spanned the whole path, that when you talk, he can genuinely say, I understand you. I understand you. So, which is a big differentiator between him and the rest of the world, who are only stuck at, they don't understand me. Next question, do you understand others? No, I don't care, but he does.
Okay. Interesting. So you spent 3 decades mastering the craft of storytelling through books, biographies, screenplays, and the world is now at a moment when AI seems to be taking over, where AI can generate a corporate story in minutes and can write a founder's biography and produce branded content at scale. So, in a sense, we're drowning in content. So, how do you tell a story that actually matters when everybody has access to the same AI writing tools?
That's interesting. I mean, with this whole song and dance about AI replacing people, so we tried it. AI cannot write a story. See, AI is an algorithm. It's input based, which means there are some people who have given it an input, and that is its playground. What is missing is that hindsight. What is missing is that wisdom, which only that person who has lived through it can give it. AI is not a breathing soul. It's a creation, like anything else that we have created. So luckily, fortunately, it can't do it. And also, it can't breathe life in it. Like we tried. I mean, I'm sure people try. And today, if somebody writes on AI, it is AI. I mean, we've learned to spot it as well.
Right.
There is a lifelessness about it. There is a soullessness about it. It's like beautiful body, but it's dead. It serves no purpose. So I think using AI as a tool but not as an end mean, is a smart thing to do. So yes, I can write a great story, but I can use AI to polish it, to make the language better, to tweak it better, to point out things which a human eye wouldn't. So till there, I think it's brilliant. But otherwise, I still have a job.
Yeah. Lifelessness about AI.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
there
that.
is.
Right. Thank you, Priya, for sharing all the
You're most
nuggets of
welcome.
wisdom. Thank you
You're most welcome.
for spending this afternoon with us.
And now you owe me the wisdom time.
Absolutely. Always.
Thank you.